Well, I'm joined now by Madushka Balasuriya, who's a journalist at the Financial Times in Sri Lanka. Thank you ever so much for your time. As we heard there, it's still not clear who's responsible. Do you have any more information?
Honestly, at this point, information is uh, pretty scarce in terms of who is responsible. There have been, I think, up to 24 arrests made now. Um, However, what a lot of the public discourse is surrounding, it's around what the government knew and why there was no action taken. There have been government ministers who come out and said that their loved ones had heard things and said, listen, don't go to church on Sunday morning because there might be something happening. So clearly, this information was being disseminated by people in the know, but it didn't get out to the wider public. And now we can see the results of that. So definitely a lot to answer for in terms of what the government knew and why there was no action taken. That said, um, this morning and last night, the prompt curfew plus there were reports of like you mentioned in the report, bomb being defused near the airport, and essentially they've been taking action quite well since then.
The curfew has obviously now been lifted. Do people feel safe? What's the mood like?
Um, it's it's different. Just to put it into context, the events of 1983 when there were riots in Sri Lanka that happened before I was born, and so I've only sort of heard things from my parents and the elders of the community. So the closest we had, or I had growing up, was the 30-year civil war, and the 30-year civil war again. Even when I lived in Colombo, I have family in Kandy, but we never felt it truly because it was always on the coastal areas. It was in the east, it was in the north, and the one key factor was there was not a single tourist that was killed during that 30-year civil war period. This feels different. And I think everyone's really concerned on multiple fronts. They're concerned for their loved ones. They're concerned because now the safety that they knew even during a period of war, that seems to be, it's being eroded. And everyone just sort of wants to get back to normalcy, but it remains to be seen. At this point, it's hard to see where it's going.
And you've talked about the government knowing a little bit about this in advance, but what about the security services? Did they have any prior knowledge?
So the the security services falls under the defense ministry, and I think according to a letter that was circulated, the security forces did know, but again, this is where questions arise. Why, um, to what extent was did they take action or did they not take action? And if they didn't take action, did they not take the threat as seriously as they should have? I think going forward, this sort of threat is definitely something that they will not overlook. But again, you need to see how many threats of this nature they receive on a regular basis. We don't know that. We haven't heard anything yet. This is obviously the first incident of this kind in Sri Lanka ever. Um, so again, I think we have to just sort of wait on the government and the security forces to give us more information as to what they knew and what their thinking was in terms of not or like not taking adequate action.
Madushka